Is your portfolio down by at least 30%? Are you scared, confused, and not sure what to do next? Thinking about selling all your assets and leaving this market? And worst of all, have you lost faith that it will ever grow again?
If any of these points apply to you, watch this video until the end.
You'll learn what to expect from the crypto market in the near future. Why are you being manipulated? Why shouldn't you read the news and sell your assets right now? How can you save your capital that has almost halved? And what should you do if you're just entering this market? Welcome to this wonderful crypto market. You're going through a trial by fire, becoming very strong as an investor. If you're watching this video, you're already more emotionally stable than 50% of the market. Interestingly, in my Telegram channel, the posts where I simply support people just gather more attention than those where I share unique strategies in DeFi. By the way, subscribe to my Telegram channel via the link in the description below. Beginners sell at the first signs of losses. But if you're still in the market, if you're watching this video, you have a huge chance to make a profit. We'll get to that a bit later. For now, let's take a look at the market. Check out these charts and comment on how you're currently handling these red candles. So, Bitcoin was $39,000 in January and $60,000, $70,000 in March. Ethereum, a similar story. If we look at altcoins, there's an interesting picture here. From January to March, it was at its peak, then everything dropped by about 60-70%. Almost any altcoin shows this pattern. Here's your answer. Standard Google Trends Analytics. The peaks of interest in crypto and Bitcoin were in March. Now, this value is 3 times lower. And those who entered in March are now down an average of 60-70%. Even new projects that have just appeared have significantly dropped. Examples include the ZK Sync, Layer 0, Starknet, etc. Let's look at how similarly strong ecosystem projects have emerged before. An example is the Aptos token. It grew well, and we made a lot of profit from it. If you look at the outcome, it's like a picture-perfect scenario. From one candlestick to the next, down 80%, and then later, it rises 5-fold. Isn't that manipulation?
If your portfolio has a similar story and has dropped by 40, 50, 60%,
I'll show you some tools you can use to at least somewhat improve the situation. And at the end, I'll also share what you should expect from this market in the near future. Now let's look at the most illustrative examples of how this market is managed. These are, of course, fake news. I really like the story with the Bitcoin ETF. We all grew together in anticipation of Bitcoin's acceptance. Everything was super clear. Everything was expected. Then literally a day or two before it was approved, news came out from the official SEC account on Twitter that it was being approved. We all collectively grew. It turned out that Twitter SEC was hacked, and it was fake news. We all collectively fell, and a day later it turned out, no guys, everything is fine. We are accepting the Bitcoin ETF. Let's take a look at what has happened in the last 3 months in this market, how people were initially driven into the market and then driven out. Let's start with the Bitcoin halving. The halving occurred on April 20th, reducing Bitcoin mining by half. This means that less Bitcoin will be mined now, we will grow, and everything will be amazing. But in reality, no, and no. Do you know why? Bitcoin was falling before the halving, and objectively, nothing happened during that time. Here's another clear example for you. It's definitely really cool and quite fresh. The SEC has closed its investigation regarding Ethereum. This means that the commission will not be bringing charges against Ethereum for selling unregistered securities. The news is just explosive. Everything should just blow up. And how do you think it affected the price? Not at all. Plus or minus 1 or 2%. Now let's take a closer look at 4 different news stories in just one single day, just a few short hours apart. They appear quite randomly, just when there's a need to put even more pressure on people. First, Mt. Gox announced the start of Bitcoin payouts in July. And here we're talking about 141,000 Bitcoins. That's $9 billion. Secondly, a rumor went viral on the network about Solana, suggesting that the project is under investigation. Third, analysts release a report expecting Bitcoin to reach $50,000. And fourth, This is, of course, the escalation in the Middle East. So what should we do when we're being manipulated so very harshly and indeed pushed out of this market? Let's consider 4 cases. You have just recently entered the market and are fully and completely invested, enduring significant losses of 50-60%. You have only partially entered the market, and your losses currently aren't as severe. You've been in the market for a long time and everything is fantastic. You have a profit, but you want more. Or you're just thinking about entering the market. Now, for those who are either partially or fully in the market, these are the overflows. Swaps are a method where we exchange one asset from our portfolio for another asset from our portfolio with the aim of increasing the number of assets through these manipulations. Here's an important rule that I personally use only for myself. I don't transfer between different categories. For example, I definitely won't transfer the blockchain ecosystem into NFTs. At the same time, transferring some Ethereum to Arbitrum, Optimism, Starknet, Layer 0, ZK Sync is indeed okay with me, because they are more or less in the same category. I am by no means transferring the entire asset. I am only working with the expectation that Arbitrum will start growing stronger than Ethereum. These are expectations. Therefore, we do not pour all of our Ethereum into Arbitrum. We specifically allocate part 10-20. Here's information on how to average in this market and what rules exist. Few people have thought about this. Let's look at the example of Arbitrum. This is roughly where we took our position. Now the market has settled and we see the price at 56 cents. Let's say we bought it at $1 for $1,000. Our average is approximately $1. If we buy it back now at 50 cents for $1,000, our average will currently decrease to 75 cents. Accordingly, the break-even point will be much closer. When it comes to averaging, it's important to understand how much the new purchase will affect the average price of the asset. It might happen that you, unfortunately, keep adding money continuously, but the average price of your asset doesn't decrease. And in that case, it's easier to take any other asset or wait until the asset drops significantly. For the most resilient or complete beginners, here's my recommendation. Under no circumstances should you go all in right away. We use the dollar cost average strategy. Judging by the current prices, you can confidently buy back approximately 40% of your stable coins right now, and then gradually and confidently enter this market evenly over the next 2 months. My market expectations haven't really changed much. Knowing what tools are currently being used in terms of manipulation, and knowing that we've already dropped by at least 60-70% in altcoins, people are already getting hit at their peak. Very soon, we are expecting the approval of the Ethereum ETF. It could be either this week or next week. Right now, the hardest part is just waiting. I think this is definitely my longest YouTube episode, but I understand that you need support. The hardest part is behind us. The most difficult part is already done. We've made the decision. We are in the market. Just a bit more to go. We need to wait until people are shaken out of the market, and we are seeing this happen now. All you can do for your portfolio right now is just clench your fists and endure. And this is indeed actually the best tactic. Just a little bit more. Hang in there. And for this episode, don't forget to like, subscribe, and of course check out my Telegram channel. There's always up-to-date information there. Thank you for being with us. See you next week.